Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother Canada 11 Digital Daily Update. Yay! Hold on, I just want to see if my audio is working. I don't know. Find out. But let me know if the audio is working. I'm not used to doing this on my own. But mom couldn't be here today, so it's fine. It's really hot up here. I'm already dying. But anyway, our house guests of the day are Douglas Boneta and Ken Wong. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so, so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. Woo. Yeah, so we were not expecting this digital daily today. They were saying it was only going to be Monday through Friday. And then this morning, I just so happened to notice that one was up. So that's fun, right? Was not expecting it, but happy to see it because I feel like there was a lot of uncertainty after what we saw yesterday. When we left off, we found out that Dan is the new HOH, and nobody seemed to know what he was going to do. Nobody knows where he stands because he hasn't really talked much game with like anyone, which is crazy because he was on the block last week. So you'd think he would be doing some game talk and his campaigning and all that, but didn't happen. So nobody knows where he stands. But we also saw yesterday the Muscle Bros were really taking the competition loss hard. I mean, they were like really torn up about it, like crying, really emotional. I guess they just assumed that they were going to like dominate all the competitions. I think also because it was such a strenuous competition, they put so much into it, and then to not win, that was like really hard on them. But like, come on. It's a lot. It's a lot. Anyway, that's where we were at yesterday. And there was a lot of speculation. Also, I have to mention that Zach would be in Dan's ear this week trying to run another HOH. And it seems like that is still the case. So let's talk about what we saw in today's Digital Daily. This is covering yesterday, day 14 in the House, and it was still pre-nominations. So Dan and Roberto are chatting in the Circle K room, and Rob says, I just want to make sure that we're seeing eye to eye. This was a very quick conversation. And Dan's like, you're good. You got nothing to worry about this week. Don't stress. I got you. I know that you got me too. And this was interesting to me because I had a feeling maybe like Zach might be trying to push Roberto going up on the block, but I don't know if that's still something he's planning because like something else is popping up here and it's unexpected. But Dan is telling Rob, you're fine. You don't have to worry. Interesting. So then Rob and Hope are chatting in the toucan room. And this was a little weird. Hope asks Rob to go under the covers with him. And the Hope starts like pretending to make out with Rob. It was funny, whatever. But then Hope says, you know what? I feel really scared here. I feel like I don't fit in. And I don't feel good about being here. And Rob's like, you're safe with me. We're going to make this work. Don't worry. So Hope says, I told Dan to put me up on the block. I think it's time. What? What are you talking about? So Hope is trying to get evicted this week. So Rob says, good on you, bro. I'm proud of you. You know, it's a huge accomplishment to even last this long in the game. And then Hope is laughing. He's like, what? It's only been like 2 weeks. This is not that good. I agree with Hope. It's not that good. I mean, I know it's really tough in there, but like, I feel like the reasons why he wants to leave are so lame. Hope says that this game is a lot harder than he thought, of course. But like, then Hope is still talking about how discouraged he is from losing the HOH competition. He's like, I'm supposed to be like the athlete, and I couldn't win this competition. So he's trying to leave because he lost and he's embarrassed. Like, really? So Rob is telling Hope, you better ride this wave when you get out of here and, you know, try to make something of this experience. I don't know what wave they think is going to be there. Like, what, you're on Big Brother Canada for 5 minutes and you ask to be evicted? What are you hoping is going to come out of this? I don't know. But Rob is telling Hope to fight hard for the POV, even if he still wants to go, because you can just show the world that you can compete, show them what you can do. And then if you do win, you can still use it on someone else potentially. So Hope says, I have something at home waiting for me. I think he means his girlfriend. But he's also like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Should I really be throwing this away? And Rob is like, nah, you can probably get another show. I wouldn't worry about it. Oh, I feel like Rob is like, this guy wants to go. Bye. Like, he's not even trying to tell Hope, you should ride it out and try to stay here. He's just like, if you want to go, adios. It's been real. So, yeah, pretty disappointing that Hope is trying to basically quit at this point. I don't know if he's actually going to follow through on this, or if it's just like he's really moody and emotional right now because he lost the HOH competition. Maybe somebody's going to like talk him out of this. I don't know, but we'll see what happens there. So then we've got Claudia and Shania chatting in the bathroom, and we learn from their conversation that at this point, Dan still did not get his HOH room or have his Wendy's breakfast. So most people didn't do their one-on-one chats with him yet, which is crazy because nominations are coming up. Like, couldn't they have done the one-on-one chats in a different room with Dan? Like, it doesn't have to be in the HOH room. But Claudia is saying Zach is probably going to have a lot of influence on what happens this week. And she doesn't know what that's going to look like. She doesn't know what Zach is wanting to happen, planning to happen. So there's a lot of uncertainty there. So then Kuzi joins Claudia and Shania, and Kuzi's like, holy crap, nominations are today, meaning Friday, yesterday. And they're all surprised it's happening so soon. This should not be a surprise. This is the way that they've done it for years and years and years, but nobody left really is like a feeds watcher. So I guess they don't know like the actual schedule of like how things happen in real time. So Kuzi's asking, do you have any idea who might be going up this week? And none of them know. Nobody knows what Dan is going to do. Another thing we learned from this conversation, there is no toilet paper in the house. Like, not even a solitary square. Maybe in the HOH bathroom, but that was locked at the time. Big Brother, get on that because these people are going to get UTIs from holding in their pee. Very unhealthy. Okay. So then Renee and Santina have a game chat in the Flamingo room. And Renee is like, we need to make sure that us girls are all dropping similar seeds to Dan because we need to keep the attention off of the girls. We need to go in there as a united front. And she's saying it would be really stupid for Dan to target the girls this week because if he plays with the guys, if he goes along with the guys, they're just going to use him for now and then take him out the first chance that they get because they've seen now that Dan can compete with those big muscle guys. He's shown more than once now that he's a really tough competitor, and those muscle guys don't like that. So Santina says, you know what? Those guys, that group of guys, they seem to have a lot of tension between them right now. Very true. So Renee's like, all right, let's let that play out. Maybe we can use that to our advantage and we'll be good this week. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. So then Claudia and Ty Maintenance are chatting in one of the lounges. And I think he was asking Claudia, like, if you were to go up on the block this week, like, do you think you'd have the votes to stay? And she was like, I don't know. I'd have to campaign. I'd have to see what everybody says. All right. So then there was some chit chat, whatever. And then Claudia at one point asks Ty, so who would Zach put up if he was HOH? Very subtle. I mean, she's clearly thinking like Zach's going to run this week, right? So like, who would Zach put up? So Ty says, well, it wouldn't be you, Claudia. Like, you don't have to worry. You're good this week. But he says, I can't say who it would be, implying like he knows, but he is looking out for Zach and not going to share that information, which if I was Claudia, I would think that is so sketchy. You're supposed to be like in a blossoming showmance with this guy and he is not giving you information like that. I'd be pretty pissed. But anyway, they kiss before Claudia leaves to do Shania's hair. So we're like at that point in the showmance now. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Um, so then Hope and Renee are chatting in the flamingo room, and Hope says, "There's a lot of work to be done this week." I feel like from this conversation, it appears that Renee and Hope are like super close, working together super closely. I think that this has been going on, they were saying, since like day 2, which I was not expecting, but they were pretty open with each other. And Renee's like, "Yeah, I know there's a lot of work to do. I'm going to be talking to Dan soon." Apparently, at that time, Dan was talking to Zach. And I was like, of course, like Zach is the first one in there. But it turns out, I'm pretty sure Zach was at the Wendy's breakfast with Dan. So that's why he was in there. But of course, he got picked. So Renee is telling Hope, "We're going to take it one day at a time. We'll see what we can do. It's going to be okay." And she's telling Hope, "I still want you here. I want you to win some things." But she tells him winning competitions is only part of this game. Most of the work is done in the house, talking to people, strategizing, playing that social game. So it's not all about competitions. And she's pretty frank with Hope. She tells him, "You need to keep your personal shit in line." I'm sure she already knows that he's talking about leaving. And she's telling him, "Don't do dumb shit. Don't get emotional and do stuff that's going to piss people off, because when you do stuff like that, it hurts my game as well, because then I have to like stick my neck out and vouch for you." So pretty interesting. I didn't realize the dynamic between those two, that they're so closely working together. But yeah. In other news, Ty hurt his back in the HOH competition. He's really sore from that. So Kuzi was walking on it for him. And Kuzi is asking, "What do you think Dan is going to do?" And Ty says, "I don't know." But he says, "If Dan listens to Zach, we'll be good." I hate how they're just like okay with Zach being like, "I want this to happen." And then they just like go along with it. What? I mean, maybe they're just humoring him for now. I don't know, but like it makes me want to barf. And at one point, what's her name? Anika, still learning names. Anika comes in and she was also saying, like, "Oh, I hope Dan is just gonna like do what Zach wants to do, or what Zach says to do." No. Okay. So then we have a Daniel and Claudia game chat in the Toucan room. And of course, they're trying to figure out what Dan is going to do. And Daniel says Dan is probably looking for an established group to join right now. Because let's face it, Dan didn't really have much going on before. So he might end up getting pulled in to work with the guys. Boom, boom, boom. So that's not going to be great, right? But Daniel is predicting maybe Rob could go up on the block next to like a free agent, meaning somebody that's not with the guys and not like performing strongly in competition. So I guess what you would say would be like a floater right now. Or maybe it could be 2 free agents. So Claudia points out Santina would be an easy person to put up on the block, not necessarily even as a target, but just as a pawn, because I mean, she did put Dan up last week, so an eye for an eye. Not sure if Dan wants to go that route, but it would definitely be an easy reason to put somebody up, right? And then like who knows what's going to happen with the whole Hope situation. But anyway, they weren't talking about that. So after Daniel is alone, he's talking to the cameras and he says he's starting to trust Claudia more, but the girls can't really be trusted right now. They've got something going on. He says the guys can't really be trusted either. They've got their thing. So Daniel says the people in the middle really need to come together. And he says, "I want to let the boys think that they have all of us middle people wrapped around their fingers right now. But when the time comes, we can band together and show those guys that we're doing our own thing. We have the numbers to take them out." But then Daniel's like, "The problem is, how many of our numbers are we going to end up losing along the way?" Right? Like that is very risky to just go along with the guys until you finally win an HOH. Like who knows when that would happen? You might lose a lot of people along the way, and then when you finally have the power, you can't really do anything. So it's definitely a risky situation. But Daniel was talking about how his targets right now are Renee and Dan, What? Is he for real? I don't know if those are his actual targets or that's just like who he says his targets are when he is talking to people because he was going through his list of like who he's cool with this at this point and he was trying to make sure that his targets would be like acceptable to all of those people. So I don't know again if those are his real targets or if that's just a cover. But anyway, Renee and Rob were then chatting over a game of billiards, and there wasn't really anything new here. They were talking game, but it wasn't really that groundbreaking. It was a lot of like, what's Dan gonna do? I don't know. What do you think Dan's gonna do? I don't know. So at one point, Renee did say that her and Shania will try to put in a good word with Dan for Rob because Rob is not really sure where he stands with him. And they seem to think that Renee has a pretty good rapport with Dan, especially like over the last few days. And they were on the block together, so they have that bond. And then I guess Shania, everybody's saying that Dan has a crush on Shania. So I don't know. We did get a brief clip of Dan talking to the cameras in the HOH bathroom. It seemed like he had just gotten out of the shower or something. So he was saying he wants to talk to everyone before he makes a decision. And he's hoping that he can use this week to set himself up for future weeks because he's hoping that the people he keeps safe this week will return the favor in the future. So we also got a very quick clip of Zach talking to Hope and Rob, and it does sound like Zach went on the Wendy's date with Dan, and Zach lets them know the boys are good this week. We're good. You don't have to worry. But they're still talking like Hope will be going up on the block. So I guess he still wants to do that. What a freaking waste, man. Pull it together. So who knows? I don't know if Dan's going to put Hope up on the block. I don't know if he has other plans. I don't know who would go up next to Hope. Are people going to just go along with it and vote him out? We'll see. They should have had noms last night. And then they should be having the POV competition today. I don't know if we're going to get a digital daily tomorrow. I wasn't expecting it today, so I don't know if they're going to do it tomorrow. So many questions, but that's where we're at right now. We still don't know who's going up on the block. Jody Cortez, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, hi. Roz, hello. I don't know if my chat thing just wasn't working or I hope you guys could hear me and I wasn't just like doing that whole spoiler with no audio. I don't know. I hope this worked. I'm going to have to go back and see if there's audio. But thank you all so much for being here. I will be back sometime with the next Digital Daily recap. And until then, much love.